Alright, this is part 2 of our lesson on finding the least common multiple. So if you didn't watch part 1 already, you should go back and watch part 1 first. Okay, so number 13. The goal is to make these the same through multiplication. So, so we've got 18 and then we've got 6v. And we want these to be the same. When the numbers are this small, you really can just do it in your head, because you can look at it and go, well, I can turn 6 into 18 by multiplying by 3. Alright, that'll make those the same. Now this one has a v and this one doesn't, so I can multiply this by v. Now they're both 18v. So that is the least common multiple, would be 18v. Okay. Now, if you glance at it and you don't immediately know what the least common multiple is, I would use prime factorization. So, looking at the 20 is 2 times 10. That's prime, and this is 2 times 5. These are all prime. Okay, so the prime factorization for 20y is going to be 2 squared times 5 times y. Okay, so that's my prime factorization. Now for 14, okay, 14 is 2 times 7. And those are already prime. So the prime factorization is 2 times 7 times y squared. So our goal is to make these the same through multiplication. So we can only make them more, not less. Looking at the 2's, this is 2 squared, this is only 2. So I'll need to make this 2 squared for them to be the same. Next up, this has a 5. This doesn't have any 5's, so we'll have to squeeze in a 5, okay, to make them the same. Now they both have a 5. This one has a 7. This one doesn't have any 7's, so I'll have to squeeze in a 7. Okay, now they both have a 7. Now the y's. This is y, but this is y squared. So if I want the y's to be the same, I'm going to have to make this y squared. So now they're the same. This is the least common multiple already. I just need to clean it up. So 2 squared times 5 times 7, you could probably do that in your head if you think about it hard enough. Alright, 2 squared times 5 times 7, that is 140. Okay, so that's why the least common multiple is 140 y squared. Okay, next, let's do the same thing for these guys. So 32, I usually just always start with 2, but I feel like doing it this way now. So 32 is 4 times 8, and so this will be 2 times 2, and then 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. Okay, so that's 5 2's. Okay, so this first one is 2 to the 5th power. Okay, and then I have times u squared. So this is the prime factorization for 32u squared. Alright, I think I'll just put a little divider right here for fun. Now I'm looking at the 14v squared. Well, 14 is, alright, just 14. Alright, 14 is 2 times 7. Alright, and that's already prime, so I'll just drop it down here. So 14 is 2 times 7. And then I've got that v squared. Okay. Now I need to make these both the same through multiplication. Start with the 2's. This is 2 to the 5th power, but this is only 2. So to make them the same, I will need to make this 2 to the 5th power as well. The next thing I've got number-wise, this has a 7. This doesn't have any 7's, so I'll have to give it a 7. Okay, now they both have it. Now the variables. This has u squared. This doesn't have any u's at all, so I'll have to give it u squared. Okay, now they both have u squared. This has v squared. This doesn't have any v's at all, so I'll have to give it a v squared. So now they're both the same, so that means this is the least common multiple. So I just need to clean it up. Okay, so 2 to the 5th power times 7. Okay, 2 to the 5th power times 7. That's 224. Okay, so the least common multiple will be 224 u squared v squared. All right, let's do another. All right, we will not need the prime factorization for this one. We can do it mentally because we know that 16 times 2 is 32. So we can make these the same just by multiplying by 2. All right, so now they're both 32. Now the x's. This is x squared. This is only x. So we'll have to make this x squared. Now the y's. This has y. This doesn't have any y's. So we'll have to give it a y. So now they are the same. That means that the least common multiple is 32x squared y. It was not a very good x. Good enough. Alright, so you don't always have to do the prime factorization. Okay, the least common multiple with 3 of these things. Yeah, let's go and do the prime factorization. Okay, so let's start with 30. So we've got 30. Let me just get it all ready. We've got 30, we've got 25, and we've got 10. Okay, let's do the prime factorization for each of these. Okay, so 30 is 3 times 10. Okay, that's prime. And then 10 is 2 times 5. So the prime factorization, and you should write them in order from least to greatest. So the prime factorization is 2 times 3 times 5. Okay? Now, the 25 is automatic, because 25 is 5 times 5. And that's immediately prime. So that's going to be 5 squared. Okay, and then 10 is 2 times 5. Okay, and those are immediately prime. So the prime factorization is simply 2 times 5. I'm looking ahead, alright, that's why I'm spacing these out in a weird way. Okay, so looking at the prime factorization, we need all 3 of these to be the same. Okay, so let's start with the 2. This has a 2. Alright, this purple one doesn't have any 2's, so it's going to need a 2. Alright, I feel like I should have a divider line in here. What color have I not used yet? You know what, I'll use brown. Use orange. Okay, let's get some dividers in here. So okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this has a 2. This doesn't have any 2's, so I'm gonna have to give it a 2. Alright, now 2, 2, 2. Now they all have a 2. Now let's look at the 3's. This has a 3. Alright, this one doesn't have any 3's, so I'm gonna have to give it a 3. Okay, this doesn't have any 3's either, so I'll give it a 3. Alright, now let's do the 5's. Alright, this has 5 squared, and this has a 5. Okay, we need them to all be the same. We can only make them more because we're multiplying, can't make them less. So we'll make this into 5 squared, and we'll make this into 5 squared. So now look, they're all the same. 2 times 3 times 5 squared. 2 times 3 times 5 squared. They're all the same. That means we have now found the least common multiple. Okay, so the least common multiple is whatever 2 times 3 times 5 squared is. Okay, so 2 times 3 times 5 squared. That's 150. Okay, so that is the least common multiple, is 150. Didn't leave myself space for it. Okay, brilliant, my friends, brilliant. Okay, so let's do it again. I'm just going to keep using the prime factorization. So we've got 10, and we've got 4, and we've got 18. 10, 4, and 18. Okay, again, the prime factorization for 10, this is just 2 times 5. Okay, for the 4, it's 2 times 2. And for the 18, it's 2 times 9, which is 3 times 3. Okay, so I've got 2's, 3's, and 5's. Okay, so the prime factorization here is I've got 2 times 5. Okay, is my prime factorization. Alright, my prime factorization here is 2 squared. Alright, and my prime factorization over here is 2 times 3 squared. Okay, so I've done all the prime factorization now. Now, I want to make them all the same. So I've got 2's, 3's, and 5's. Let's start with the 2's. I have 2, 2 squared, and 2. We can only make them more, not less. We're multiplying. So let's make them all into 2 squared. Alright, now they're the same. 2 squared, 2 squared, 2 squared. Now let's deal with the 3's. Alright, this has 3 squared. Okay, this one doesn't have any 3's at all. So I'm going to have to give it a 3 squared. This one doesn't have any 3's either. So I'm going to give it a 3 squared. Now let's deal with the 5's. This has a 5. This one doesn't have any 5's, so I give it a 5. This one doesn't have any 5's either, so I give it a 5. Now see how they're all the same? 2 squared, 3 squared, 5. 2 squared, 3 squared, 5. 2 squared, 3 squared, 5. They're all the same. So that means we have found the LCM, the least common multiple. Okay, it's just going to be 4 times 9 times 5. Okay, 2 squared times 3 squared times 5 is 180. So that's the least common multiple, is 180. Chapow. Okay. Last one. Alright, we will not need prime factorization for this. Okay, we can do this mentally. Okay, we've got 8y, and we've got, I'm just spreading them out a little bit. So we've got 16 xy. And then we've got 16y. Okay, I'm thinking ahead, so I'm putting a little space here because I see what's coming. In fact, I'll do the same thing over here. Just going to space out that. Oh, that was y squared anyway. I was messing up a little bit. So this is 8y squared. Okay, so these are our three things, and we need to make them all the same. So see how both of these are 16, so I need this to be 16, but I can make this become 16 just by multiplying by 2. Alright, so 2 times 8 is 16, so just pretend 16, 16, 16. Now variables. The next variable in alphabetical order is x. So this one has an x. These two don't have x's, so we'll have to give them all x's. Okay, now the y's. This has y squared. The other two only have y. So we can only make it more, not less. We're multiplying. So we'll have to make them all y squared. So that's why the least common multiple is 16xy squared. Alright, and that is how you find the least common multiple.